Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Sidelines, a show where we talk all things NFL, even during the off season. So today, I have with me Kody, who's on my right, and then CJ, who's below me. And my name is Monique. I'll be your host for tonight's episode. And tonight's episode is actually pretty, I would say, one of the juiciest ones. I mean, the last one we did, guys, like, it's going to be really hard to beat the spiciest takes of the season, but I think the best bets episode might just trump that, and maybe we can continue that when Jackson and Josh are both back on. I want to hear their bets. I know that Jackson, he can't really do much of the betting because of his job, but his profession, but I think that he has a lot of valuable advice and insight, and Josh has probably one of the spiciest takes besides CJ probably on the show that I would say would be very valuable to something like this. So we're probably going to continue this topic on another episode. If you guys haven't followed us, it is on Sports Fluent on their YouTube, X, and Facebook page. That's what we're live on right now, 8 p.m. Eastern from the sideline. Catch us live. It's usually all five of us, ideally, but today it's just the three of us, but that's okay because we have our best bets episode. So you guys take notes and figure out which teams or which players you want to bet on for the NFL season. So if anyone does not know what a best bets episode is, it's basically an episode where we talk about what our best bets are, where they're coming from, what the odds are, and our rationale behind it, so you guys can make an informed decision way early on before the NFL season even starts. And it's not even that far away. I think it's literally like 7 Sundays away or something like that. So it's actually pretty close. So I am going to start off with something not as juicy and not as spicy as usually what CJ or Josh would probably provide on these episodes, but something along the lines of what if, and this is not going to become a very like big shock to many of you, but what if the Baltimore Ravens win the Super Bowl? That is my first bet of the season, best bets of the season, because I think it's, if you guys want to know the odds and where I got this from, it's plus 700 on BetMGM right now, at least. I don't know, it might have changed, but right now that is what I have going on. So my rationale is a few things. So I believe Lamar Jackson's in his prime. I believe that they're definitely very prime Super Bowl contenders, adding to their offense. But in terms of defense wise, they've added free agent Jair Alexander, the quarterback, as well as the top safety in the 2025 draft, Malachi Starks. And I'm telling you guys this, get on it while the odds are good, because they have a really good shot at the Super Bowl this year. I really believe that. Kody, CJ, do you have any thoughts on that? I'll start with Kody first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they're the second, and I think maybe Buffalo or Philadelphia might have better. When I see on I have my on FanDuel, but I bet it's usually pretty similar. But yeah, I think that's a solid bet. I mean, they've been there. They've been in the hunt every year. They're one of the top 3-4 teams in the league every year.
Yeah.
Like you said, Lamar Jackson's in his prime. He's without a doubt, in my opinion, at least one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. So they definitely have the juice. And like kind of what we talked about last week was the pressure's on them. Like they got to at least make the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Them or the Bills got to at least win the AFC, or else like the noise is gonna get louder and things may change. This coming year. So the pressure's on. I like their roster. I like their team. I like their coach. So yeah, I like that. I like that bet. I don't always like to go with the favorite, but I like the bet.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely one of the favorites, but like I said, I'm starting off really soft compared to like my other more outlandish / spicy takes and spicy bets of the season. But CJ, what do you think about my bet about the Ravens making the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think plus 700 is really good odds, especially early with you have a team that's a pretty good, favorable Super Bowl team. Obviously, the expectation would be to be there in the hunt. Obviously, I wonder what the odds would be like if they, were to be bad this year, which is like fathomable because I think that team's just so good. But that would be a little bit of a spicy meatball. I mean, I think it's a good value. I think that's definitely really good value, plus 700. You know what I mean? And you can make some good money back, especially if they do get over that hump this year.
For sure. Thank you, guys. I guess you guys agree with me that this is kind of like a little softer bet, a little bit of an ease in terms of the best bets of the season. I'm waiting for CJ's picks. I'm also waiting for Kody. Kody has some pretty good, little takes here and there that may surprise you. So we're gonna go to Kody first. Do you have something that maybe that will ease us into this bets episode?
Okay, so you went with Super Bowl. I have a couple of Super Bowl bets, but I'll hold off on that. So I got a player, like a player prop, basically, or a player bet.
Okay, yeah.
And this is on FanDuel, where I usually get my odds, but I got Baker Mayfield at 34-1 to win the MVP. So I think that's long odds, 34-1. So you could bet 10 to win 340, and so on and so forth. But I think they're obviously going to have a good offense. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, you get Emeka Ibuka. I really like Bucky Irving, the running back. So I think they're going to put up points. And I think they're the best team in that division. They've kind of been the best team in that division for a while. Yeah. And I feel like the guys at the top, whether it's Mahomes or Allen or Lamar, there's a little bit of like MVP fatigue with them. So it's like I feel like someone's going to, like, people want to vote for someone different. Like it was Josh Allen's year last year, even though you could probably argue that Lamar Jackson had better numbers. Like it was going to be Josh Allen's year. There was just voter fatigue for Lamar Jackson. I think it's going to be for all three of them this year. So got to look for someone a little bit out on the outside. 34-1 is a really good like number. And I feel like Baker's just gotten better and better. His first year, he was good. He got even more comfortable last year. I think it's a good long shot bet. Is it going to cash in? Probably not, but throw 100 on that, win 3,400. That'd be pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. What do you think, CJ? What do you think about that bet that Kody just posted?
Yeah, I think we got good odds there. Yeah, I mean, not too much to say, but I think it's pretty good.
Okay, so like what I think is that even though it seems kind of like a long shot bet, which I can understand, but you never know what could happen, especially if they do very, very well in that division. You never know what can transpire within certain games that would lead to someone winning MVP of the year. So I think it just kind of matters on circumstance. It matters on what happens during the season, how well they perform, how consistent they're going to be, and like if they're going to make it to the top of their division, which probably that's most likely the case. So I mean, it's hard because I think that you're talking about like what I just posted, right? Like Lamar. Like he is a shoo-in for MVP, right? A lot of people would say like he might have a better chance than someone like Baker Mayfield, right? So like it's harder to kind of look at it from like the overall perspective, but in terms of the division, you definitely have a good argument and a solid background when it comes to that. I just think that overall when we're looking at other quarterbacks, it's so hard to count out certain people like Lamar, like Josh Allen, like you know what I'm talking about, Kody, right? But it's definitely good odds, and I respect the bet for sure.
Yeah, like he wouldn't be my pick, but at 34-1, it's like I throw $10 on there and kind of give me something throughout the season.
You never know.
So
you never know, right?
Give you something a little bit to root for, and hey, maybe it comes through. So yeah, so I like it's more for the odds than like the overall pick. But I mean, 34-1 is nice for, especially it's become a quarterback award. He plays the right position. So yeah.
And I think honestly, like when I started with my pick about the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl, I honestly thought that I'm gonna go really safe here and like not just the odds, but like look at the overall team and the quarterback and like the quarterback being in his prime, and then the overall team, like how they're adding in certain players that are gonna benefit them in the long run, hopefully. And I think like with you, I think your approach is like more like odds and like this looks really, really good. Why not slap in $10, even like $5, even $2 and get a little bit of a payday? Like you never know what could happen, right? So I definitely respect that. We're gonna go to CJ. CJ, I know you obviously are known on the show to have pretty spicy takes and bets on the NFL season, but I want you to go a little bit safer and just ease us into it before we get shocked and might have to eat some jalapenos or drink some hot sauce on the show.
Not this week, no.
Not this week, I
know. Okay, so I'm looking at a lot of team bets right now and win totals. So let's just go with the Dolphins win total, right? And you got a couple different lines that you can kind of go with, but I think something I'm really looking at is kind of really catching my eye because I'm looking at dumpster fires. I'm looking for teams that are due to explode. Everyone's like, yeah, let's go over. No, I'm a hater. Let's go under. Let's go under 4.5 wins for the Miami Dolphins this year at +4.
Oh my god, that's okay. Okay, you know what, CJ, I need to hear your rationale because that's an extreme.
I don't think so. I've been on this train all off season where I think the Miami Dolphins are a complete dumpster fire, and I think the Miami Dolphins are due to explode. Right, down from top to bottom. Ownership is terrible. Trading away your best players after you pay them. Tyreek Hill is not really super happy, but they did kind of give him a bit of a raise, so he's just quiet for now. But how long will it last? How long will the health of Tua Tagovailoa last? Right. So then you have outbursts, not say per se outbursts, but your star running back. It was kind of disappointed with the trade of Jalen Ramsey. Kind of ripples down throughout the locker room. You got Teron Armstead, who retired, and one of their better left tackles that was kind of protecting Tua, be able to replicate that. I just think there's a lot of just a lot of unknowns here. They got rid of Jonnu Smith, who was one of their better receivers for them, who kind of got reinvigorated under Mike McDaniel because they struggled, quite frankly, with the tight end position. Obviously, they're going with Darren Waller out of retirement. But what can you expect for someone coming out of retirement? I mean, this is not Gronk following Tom Brady, right? Like, it's not that type of arc that we should be expecting. It's Tua Tagovailoa and a Tyreek Hill who doesn't really want to be there. Or to be quite honest, how much can we still expect from Tyreek Hill? Whether it's being available to play, wanting to play, or staying out of trouble, to be honest with you. So I just think the Miami Dolphins are ready to explode, and I think under 4.5 capitalizing on that. I mean, 4 wins seems just about right. I mean, Patriots I think will be a better team, so that's going to be can Vrabel restore that Miami Dolphins Patriots where they just kind of dominated them and consistently each year. Obviously, you got the Buffalo Bills are consistently good, and then the Jets are going to. I feel like you don't really know what the Jets are, but the Jets, I feel like we'll at least have an identity this year, and so being able to steal a division win, and I think that could be because I just think the Dolphins are the most vulnerable team, to be honest with you. So,
Okay, you know what? I don't know, man. CJ is like, he should be like a salesman, and maybe he is in like his full-time job, and I don't even know about it, but he is slowly convincing me of his ways. Like, even like the Tennessee Titans, I will never forget that like take for like the life of me, and we'll see what happens during the season. But speaking of teams that I think CJ kind of alluded to teams that might not go, like they go under like 4.5 wins. What about teams that go over 4.5 wins and some teams that are pretty like on the fence of that? So like, what are the teams that I pretty much thought of that might go over 4.5? Guys, wait for it. It gets a little spicier. What about the Cleveland Browns? What if they go over 4.5? Now, there's not much to back up this claim, but what if that head coach, I think his name is Kevin Stefanski, right? He calls sorry?
Stefanski,
sorry guys. And he's calling the plays on offense again, and it's not like the whole roster isn't like, devoid of talent. Let's just say that there's a lot of opportunities and scenarios where they can go over 4.5. So I'm saying, like I said, I'm just gonna lead everyone into the direction, and then you'll see my like total, like I guess spiciest picks in a way. We're kind of continuing on from last week, but best pick of the season. But this one is a little bit more spicier than what I just told you guys about the Baltimore Ravens for sure winning the Super Bowl. But I'm gonna go to CJ first. What do you think about my rationale in terms of the Cleveland Browns going over 4.5? Do you agree, or do you think they're gonna go under or right at like 4 or something like that?
It's kind of funny that you stayed in the AFC North because actually the North was where I was going to go for my second pick. Since we're here and we're talking about the same exact team that I decided to choose for my nice little warming my best bets. I went under 2.5 wins at plus 500 for the Cleveland Browns because you're optimistic and I love that for you. I really do. But I'm in my hater era right now, and what says that the Cleveland Browns can win multiple games this year? They paid Myles Garrett for what? For him to lie in front of cameras to say that I like it here. I'm excited for this plan. What plan is that you're excited about? You're having 4 quarterbacks compete. Joe Flacco at 40 plus years old, right? Don't get me wrong. There's very good pieces here. Obviously, not Travis Hunter because they traded him away to get Mason Graham, who was throwing up in minicamp. You got Jerry Jeudy, who had a career year, but then can you replicate that with what quarterback? Who small hands Kenny Pickett, old man Joe Flacco, drives a little too fast. Sanders. Shador,
let's not go there, guys.
So it's like, there's a lot of great options. And obviously with the latest news that just happened with Quinshon Judkins that came out yesterday, that's also another blow to this team. So you got a lot of things that are piling up right now. And Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat. Like, they have to figure this out. Are they waiting for their high paid savior? And that is Deshaun Watson to come back. He could possibly come back by December, January. That's kind of been a rumor that's floating around. I wouldn't want that. I mean, Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson are like water and oil. They just don't mix. And so the fact that they have to be here because of contractually, and they paying them a boatload of money, it does not, sound like success to me. And if they win over 2.5 games, great. But they definitely not winning more than 5.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit optimistic. I like the odds. I might parlay it. You never know. Kody, what do you think about that?
Sorry, Monique. I think I'm with CJ on this one. Like, Cleveland won 3 games last year, and I don't think they got better. And they got more distractions now because now they got 4 quarterbacks and not 1, basically. Yeah. And I mean, the Shador thing's always going to be over because Shador's probably not going to be your game 1 starter, but he's going to be the fan favorite probably for the most part.
Yeah.
And so that's not good. And they have decent pieces, but not great pieces. Defense has got some good, I like Denzel Ward and then of course Myles Garrett. Like, they have some like decent players, but like I said, 3 wins last year. I thought they got worse in the offseason. Now you got the Shador drama. He's, he can't follow the speed limit in Cleveland. And Quinshon Judkins drama. It's just a lot going on. Stefanski's coaching for his job when it really hasn't been his fault. Like, the organization's let him down. I think he's a good coach, but he's been given a terrible situation. So I could also see him. I don't think he would ever come out and say this, but be like, maybe I'll just lose games and get my ass out of here and get another job. Because it's like, go somewhere where you can go and have a little bit more support and not have a crazy owner that's going to pay Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract and things like that. So I don't ever like to put money on the Browns to win. So if I can put it at lose, I think it's just safer. Yeah. So sorry, Monique. I think I got to go with under 2.5. And then even like the Dolphins one, I like the Dolphins under 6.5. Under 4.5 was a little too rich for me, but under 6.5 I like there. But I think they're going to be bad this year too.
Guys, like, what if? And this is obviously a very optimistic scenario. What if Like the Cleveland Browns are like, screw this adversity. We are going to prove everyone wrong and try to get at least 5 wins. That's all I'm saying. Okay, because there's so many distractions. I get that. There's so much pressure on the team. I understand that. And there's some really good players and some really good pieces. So like, I understand like, CJ's era of hating on teams, but I'm just more optimistic than most people. But you never know. We'll have to see what happens during the season, right? Okay, so we are gonna move on to CJ. CJ, what is your next pick and best
my
bet?
next one is gonna be a little fun. You know what? I was hating previously, right? So you know what? That speech really moved me. It moved me a lot. So let's do a nice little special they have on FanDuel, where you can, it's 1, 2, 3 different teams, win totals at plus 750. So nice little odds. $10 wins you 75, 100 wins you 750, So it's start off with a little homer pick. Commanders to win more than 9.5 games. I like that. Pretty solid.
I like that. Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Raiders to win more than 7.5. Did I say 7.5?
Pushing it.
9.5 the first time, or did I say 7.5?
I think it's 7.5. Yeah, I think 7.
Commanders at 9.5. Excuse me.
Yeah, Commanders at 9.5. Yeah.
And then the Raiders are at 7.5, more than 7.5 games, that's one that's going to be a little iffy, but I think that team will be better. And then to round it out, to make this so much sweeter, Titans to win more than 5.5 games.
Okay. I agree with 2 out of 3 of those.
Yeah, I'm the same. 2 out of 3. You're gonna have to sell me. You're gonna have to do that sell job again on the Raiders, because I like that division. I think the Chiefs, of course, Chargers, and Broncos, I think are going to be really good. So I just don't see 8 wins on the board for them. So yeah, you're going to have to sell me a little bit on that. But I like 2 out of 3 as well.
I agree. I think the Raiders will be better. So 8 is like, it is one of those things where it makes it like, but I don't know. I think 8 is doable. We could do the schedule game for the Raiders.
Well, they're going to start 0-1. They're on the road at the Patriots week 1, so they're going to start 0-1.
I mean, sure.
Love it, man.
It could be a Geno revenge game. I mean, Geno played a lot against the Patriots. So you got Patriots. It's in New England at 1:00 game. That kind of sucks for the Raiders.
Yeah, early start. Yeah.
I think it's a dub. Week 2 against the Chargers. I think Pete Carroll got to get his lick against Jim Harbaugh. That's like the coach rivalry right there.
Right.
I mean, definitely an L against the Commanders. I mean, you're not gonna... Yeah. So that's 1.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they can get a dub against the Raiders. I mean, against the Bears, excuse me. They got Bears, Colts, Titans.
There you go.
Yeah.
That could be a good little stretch for them. Yeah,
that's 1 out of 3, I guess you could say, if you want to do 8 or 9 or whatever, right? So
I could say, let's say they go.
They probably got to win 2 out of those. 2 of those.
Let's go 2 out of 3 here. So that's 3 wins. And then they got Chiefs, Jags, Broncos.
Jags for sure, obviously.
Jags at home, they could win that. But...
So that's 4.
Yeah. Cowboys at home. That's interesting.
Ooh, okay.
I think they could beat the Cowboys.
Me too, actually. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
That's a Monday night game too.
Okay.
And then Browns, that's a dub.
Okay.
I think they can sweep the Chargers.
Wow.
Those games are like Raiders home games in LA. Like there's definitely more Raider fans there. So that helps.
It was supposed to have been them. They should have been the team in SoFi.
They should have been. Yeah. The Chargers should still be in San Diego. Yeah.
I mean, after the Chargers, you got the Broncos again at home. That could be sway depending on how the season goes. Then they go Broncos, Eagles, Texans, Giants, and then finish it with the Chiefs. I think they could beat the Chiefs if the Chiefs are like already clinched, right?
Yeah.
The Giants, I think, so they could finish 2 in a row. So that's what, at least 6 games right there.
Yeah.
And you gotta win 2 more. Yeah.
Then you just gotta find the 2. You're gonna have to split with the Broncos. And could the Eagles be a sitting? They travel a lot to the East Coast. That kind of stinks, actually.
Yeah, they do travel a lot. Yeah.
But I don't know. It'll be really close. It will be really close.
That's interesting, CJ. Yeah. What do you think, Kody? Do you think that CJ has a little bit of merit in this post?
Looking at the schedule, it helps a little bit, but yeah, a lot of East Coast travel is not great, especially when they're like early kickoffs too. But they could pull off a couple upsets. Like you said, get the Chiefs at the end of the year. Maybe they arrest the Mahomes, and we saw what Carson Wentz looked like in Week 17 last year. So that could help. And then they'll need to split against the Broncos and the Chargers too. You can't get swept by either one of those to win.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's on the table. I'd be surprised, but they got better leadership. Geno's probably the better quarterback they've had since Carr, and then you can argue Pete Carroll is their best coach they've had since John Gruden the first time around. So, at least it's more stable there. I like Ashton Genty a lot. I think
Me too.
Brock Bowers has a chance to really break out even more this year. So they got nice pieces. That's just a tough division and a tough kind of travel schedule for them. I didn't know where any of those games. Do they play any international games, or are those just all on the road?
Just on the road.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Speaking of which, guys, we're talking about just recently. Kody just mentioned really tough divisions. Now, this might be a very obvious question, but maybe some people that are listening that are just getting into the NFL. Which is the division that is the harshest to win? Which division is the harshest to win? Which is the hardest division to win in terms of getting on top, number 1 in that division, like because it's so tight in talent or something like that, or so tight and because of the teams, just overall teams being so good. What is that division for you guys, and explain why and break it down for us. I'm going to go to Kody first.
I think it's the NFC North. So this was this division went all the way to the end of the season last year, 2 14-win teams playing in the last week of the season. So it was obviously tough last year. And I think both the Lions and the Vikings are going to still be pretty good this year, but they're not going to be as good as they were last year. I think the Bears will be a little bit better. And I think the Packers will just kind of be who they are, just a stable team, just a mid, maybe above mid, some weeks team. So I think they're all kind of like with the Vikings and Lions dropping a little bit, maybe those teams rise. And I think it's going to be kind of a very tight race for most of those teams. I still would probably lean towards the Lions to win that division just because I like their roster the most out of everybody. But I mean, I could see the Packers winning the division. I could even see the Bears winning the division. And maybe if JJ McCarthy hits, hopefully Josh is hearing this somewhere. If he hits, they can win the division and make some noise too, because they got a really good roster. So I just think it's a really tight race for like teams that have the potential to be really good, and then 4 teams that have the potential to be mid. So it could be a really tight race the whole season.
I think it's like there's this balance between all that division where you have teams like the Bears and the Packers that have the potential to be really great if they choose to be, and then there's some teams that are like up there like the Lions, right, that obviously they have really high expectations for teams like the Lions, but there's also we've seen what happened last year, at least in the playoffs, and it could just kind of level each other out. So in that way, I think Kody has a good point about the NFC North. CJ, which division do you think is the hardest to win?
I mean, both North divisions, AFC and NFC, are pretty stout. With you, I think I'm gonna have to probably go with the AFC West. Obviously, the Chiefs' dominance and Patrick Mahomes is going to be here for a while, unfortunately, for people who are not a Chiefs fan. And then obviously they had 3 playoff teams last year, so they are in a pretty good place. You know, you would think of, regression of one of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think the regression is going to come from the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, they went
Me too.
15-1,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, okay, I mean, it's pretty good. Or 15-2, something like that. 17 games.
Yeah.
So, and obviously they had a lot of really close games, and kind of were really lucky, to be honest with you. They say it's better to be lucky than good, whatever. And then obviously, it's year 2 with Harbaugh in Los Angeles. In theory, that offense should get better. Same with Bo Nix. And then obviously with a new kid in town, not really so new or young, Pete Carroll and the Raiders, right? So that's a team that I think is going to really try to win now. Like, I think a lot of their moves that they did were not really, hey, like, we're going to build this thing slow. Like, Pete Carroll ain't got time to be able to build this thing up slow. So I think it's going to be really competitive. I think all of their division games will be must-see TV starting in week 2. So I think it's the AFC West for sure. Will there be a repeat of 3 AFC teams in the AFC West teams in the playoffs? There's a good chance. There's a good chance of that. I don't see which team really regresses hard unless something unforeseen happens this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, guys. I don't know what the odds of this are, like, because I just thought of it. Because CJ brought up a really good point. And something that I mentioned in many of our episodes, it's especially the first few episodes. But guys, what if the Chiefs don't make it to the Super Bowl this year?
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes.
I don't know the odds, and I don't know where to find them because I just thought of it this second. I'm like, you know what? There is a good chance that they might not make it to the Super Bowl this year, and I would 100% love that. You already know, Kody, based on our division and our side of the coin.
Okay.
I honestly think, you know what? There is a team that cracked the code of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's not like they're unbeatable now. They are beatable. And because of that, if someone literally just like decided, I'm gonna watch tape of what happened during the Super Bowl and kind of just mimic, the little bit of the defensive intricacies that the Philadelphia Eagles created in terms of facing against the Kansas City Chiefs and stopping their plays and stopping someone like Travis Kelce from doing what he does best, and Pacheco and like everybody, right? Like, what says that they might not make the Super Bowl this year? I think it's a really good bet. If anyone finds that bet out there, please tell me what the odds are, because I will definitely be on that. I don't know if it's worded like that. I'm just saying, like, I am totally on board with the Kansas City Chiefs not making the Super Bowl this year. Kody, what do you think about that?
So there's a bet for them not to make the playoffs. I think that's a little bit too steep.
That's too no. I would never do that. Like, yeah.
But because I think they'll make the playoffs at the very least. So they are the fourth. They have the 4th best Super Bowl odds, at least on FanDuel, and the third best in the AFC. So even like Vegas kind of thinks that they're not going to give back to the Super Bowl, thinking that maybe the Ravens and Bills are finally going to break through. So they're plus 800 to win the Super Bowl. And
wow. Okay.
That's a decent. That's probably one of their better odds in years.
Yeah.
That they've had. So
losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think they make the Super Bowl this year, but I would have said that same thing last year too. So I mean, who knows? So what's got to happen is someone's got to get home field advantage. I know the Ravens had home field advantage 2 years ago and it didn't work out. They still went into Baltimore and beat them.
Yeah.
But going into Arrowhead is just a lot tougher. If you can get them in your place, especially if it's the Bills, you can get them in Buffalo, get them in your place. It's a lot easier. But until I see it, it's kind of like, I mean, I heard every single year that when the Patriots are on their run, they're not making the AFC Championship game, they're not making Super Bowl. And it's like, They did a lot of the time. So until I see it, I'm not gonna put any money against it. I'm just not gonna put any money for it. So I like your bet there if there is a bet to be made there, but I'm gonna stay away from it. I'll look at other bets.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm not like a total hater of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a little bit, maybe a little bit, CJ, because I already know you can tell that's coming from me. But I just think that, number one, they are beatable. It's been proven. Number two, when you talked about the home field advantage, like, it's not just about that. I think it's a team that, like, if someone, let's just say, is leading by not just like a whole lot, but like, a few points here and there, and then they just get a little bit of cocky and a little bit too comfortable, and then all of a sudden the other team just swoops in and gets the lead from them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it might boil down to that, not just home field advantage. It might just boil down to like which team is going to be the team that's going to take advantage of the opportunities that are there and, like, capitalize on mistakes. So that's just kind of like how I see it. I just see, like, this is the time, guys, that we are not going to see a Chiefs era. I am so excited to see another team break through. Hopefully, obviously, Kody, I hope it's the Patriots, obviously. but if it's the Bills, I'll be very, very happy. I'll be very, very happy for them if they break through, or even the Ravens, like I said. Like, if you were to cash in my first bet that we're talking about. But CJ, let's get spicier, man. Let's talk about some of your juiciest picks, and not probably the overall best one out there, but maybe the second best one. What about that?
Well, I just wanted to say, if you're really looking for a guaranteed profit at minus 1,050, you can bet the Cleveland Browns to miss the playoffs and cash money.
CJ, man, you're speaking the truth right here, man.
There's a couple things that there's a couple bets that I really like. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 6 bets I actually really like.
Wow.
So this one's a little spicier. This will be the last one in terms of teams, and the rest from here will just be players. But the Bengals and the Commanders at plus 2,800 to make the conference championship games.
Whoa, both of them, okay.
So obviously it would be for the Commanders to go back to the conference championship game. A fun fact, actually, last time the Commanders were lost in a conference championship game the year after they won the Super Bowl. Just saying. But the Bengals, obviously, the Bengals could do something that no one expects anyone to do. Lose an argument in terms of contracts and either give a pay raise to Trey, and get Shamar Stewart in the building, and just the one little thing on this contract. And then next, they have 2 formidable pass rushers, and maybe this defense is better than what people expect, or decent enough to stop them. And instead of them scoring 42 a game, 35 a game, and your offense scores 42 a game. And, maybe they'll make a little run and they'll start, not lose to the Patriots week 1 and possibly get that one win they need to get to the playoffs and maybe make a run. Because they were a very dangerous team towards the end of the year. And so maybe the ball drops in the opposite direction this year for them, and maybe they'll actually get back to the conference championship game.
Okay, Kody, what do you think about what CJ just said?
I mean, I like it. I like the Bengals. I've liked them the last couple of years, but they've steered me wrong. I've actually put money on them to win the AFC the last couple of years and lost, obviously. So, I mean, I love Joe Burrow. He's one of my favorite players in the league, but I just can't trust that defense. Like like you said, the contract disputes with Trey Hendrickson. You don't want to pay your first round pick with basically the pick where he was at. There's basically like slots where it's like, okay, you pay him this much if you pick him here, and they're even too cheap to even pay him that much. And so I don't know. I feel like the vibes aren't great going into the season for the Bengals. they're going to score points. It's not going to be an issue. I just don't know if they're going to be, because there's going to be a week where, Burrow throws a couple of picks, or they're just not firing on all cylinders on offense. They're going to have to win with, defense getting some stops. And I just don't see them getting enough consistent stops, at least in the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs this year, but to be like the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, it's going to be hard to have that bad of a defense to really play against those guys. So I'd love to see. I think the Commanders can get back to the championship round too. I would like them to kind of figure out what's going on with Terry McLaurin. I keep hearing that he's not happy there. He wants a raise. He wants an extension.
Terry will get paid. Terry will get the money. Everyone, first of all, Adam Schefter is a liar, because he has he's pretty reliable for the most part. But then there'll be times where if you don't really know what's going on, you could just believe what he says as the gospel. But I think the first thing was once he was like, "Oh yeah, Terry McLaurin hasn't been there all offseason." I was like, "That's false. That is false." I've seen so many videos of him. He wasn't there for the mandatory camp. He was there for the voluntary, right? So it's just small things. But anyways, Terry will be fine. He'll get paid August 1st. They'll be all right.
Right. Yeah, I think the toughest thing for them is going to win that division. Can you get back to the championship game from the wild card again? That's just difficult. So can they beat the Chiefs and win the division? But I love the odds to do that. So that's really good. That's really good odds. And I mean, I'd love to see that Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels versus Joe Burrow. You got LSU versus LSU. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah. But that'd be I don't know what that matchup is. It's probably even spicier. But yeah, no, I like it. I think both those teams will be better this year. And I think if the Commanders just get Scary Terry happy or trade him to New England. I mean, there's really the only two options. But just kidding. But I like those guys. Yeah.
Okay, guys, before we go to pretty much our spiciest picks, we're going to have to get some rationale on these picks for sure. Let's talk about which teams, because you guys were talking about teams that are probably going to get better, and then there's teams that are going to get worse, right? So let's start with the easier one. Which team is going to get exceptionally better this year versus last year? Which team has the most potential to get that much better this year than last season? I'm gonna go with CJ first. What do you think?
I'm trying to look at win total. Because if you want to do like the plus game of like who could get more, obviously you want to look at the stinkier teams, right? And see. Yeah. There's two teams right now I'm looking at that just comes to mind. And you know what? It's the Tennessee Titans, right? So Tennessee Titans
going down with that ship. I love it.
He's going down with that ship.
3 wins, right? So to double your win total at 6, which will also be beneficial to my parlay that I gave, my pick I gave you earlier, it just makes too much sense to double the win total from 3 to 6 would be really good. And a weaker division. I also look at teams like the Raiders who had 4 wins last year. I think they will definitely. I think it's a given that they'll win more than 4 games next year. If you want a lock of the century, Mr. Two Locks, right? Shout out to you.
Mr. Two Locks.
I would put the Las Vegas Raiders over 4 wins, guaranteed.
For sure. Okay, Kody. Easy of them. Okay, which team is going to exceptionally excel this year versus last year?
I'm going to leave my team out. I don't want to be that guy who's always picking their team. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chicago. 5-12 last year. I felt like after the Commanders game, the season just kind of got off the rails. Like they couldn't recover from that just Hail Mary loss, and it got off the rails. I think better coaching this year, at least on the offensive side with Ben Johnson. You get some offensive lineman help to kind of protect Caleb Williams. They still have the weapons. I still like their weapons. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. You get another tight end. So now you got Colston Loveland and I'm blanking on his name. Well, Cole Kmet. There we go. So I think you got a good receiving group for Caleb Williams. And like I said earlier with the NFC North, I think some of the teams at the top will come down to the pack a little bit. So maybe you can get a win at home against the Vikings. I think they open up with the Vikings on Monday night. And maybe you can get a win at home against the Lions. They probably should have beat the Lions in Detroit on Thanksgiving, or at least send it to overtime if they could just call a timeout. But so I think they're going to be better this year. And then I guess on the AFC side, we'll go with the team that we just spoke about, the Bengals. Okay. I think they win more than 9 games this year. I think they get 10 or 11 wins, so a little bit better. The defense is still going to kind of hold them back from their full potential, but I think they'll be better. So I think they'll get a couple more wins and just get back to the playoffs and maybe make some noise there. But those would be 2 teams that I like this season to be not maybe not exceptionally better, at least in the Bengals case, but in the Bears case, I think they can get to potentially 8, 9, 10 wins depending on how they finish the season.
I do like all your picks for sure. There were some of them that I had in my mind for sure when I was thinking of this question. Okay, now it gets a little bit tougher because what happens to the teams that go exceptionally down? I think CJ kind of alluded to a few of them, like the Dolphins, right? That were probably like dumpster fire teams. I'm pretty sure I have a few in my mind as well, but I want to hear first from Kody. Kody, which team, I guess you could say from both sides, do you think is going to exceptionally decline this season?
Exceptionally decline?
Yes, like dumpster fire, like they become dumpster fire teams.
Dumpster fire. It might be a little bit further than I'm willing to take it, but I'm glad our boy Josh isn't on this because I think it's gonna be the Vikings.
Oh
no! I wouldn't go as far.
We are clipping this.
No, yeah, for sure. Because if it ends up being the opposite, I'm totally good to like eat crow and shit. But I think I wasn't a big JJ McCarthy fan. I thought he was kind of just like the handoff merchant at Michigan. He'd make some plays here and there, throwing the ball, but now you're going to ask him to probably throw 30, 40 times a game because that's what they do. Their team's built off of throwing the football.
Unless he does it. They got 2 good backs now.
They got 2 good, but you also
might just be running that Michigan offense again.
Not with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on the outside. I think you got to feed that guy a little bit. You're paying him. I think he's the 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the league now that Jamar has been paid, but they were 14-3 last year. I think it's more about how good they were last year. Like they were really good last year. So I think probably 9, 10 wins. So it's not a dumpster fire, but they're not going to be like a juggernaut that they were last year. And then on the AFC is kind of tough. Like I feel like
it's definitely tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think they have a chance to kind of crater a little bit this year. I don't love the signing of Aaron Rodgers, and especially how late it was. So he misses all the OTAs, really. He misses mini camping. You trade George Pickens, whatever, but like, who do you have you got DK Metcalf and Jonnu Smith. Those are your best receiving options. I don't love that. It's okay. Your running back options are Caleb Johnson, a rookie, and who's the other guy? It's Jalen Warren. So it's unproven. And the defense is old, and they're not happy with TJ Watt. Doesn't even want to really be there. He's not showing up for camp. He probably won't show up for camp. He's probably going to hold out. So I think there's a lot of issues there. I know Tomlin always finds a way to just kind of get 10 wins. I think it's the first year he does. And I could see them winning like 6, 7 games and having one of the worst seasons they've had in a long time.
Yeah. Okay, CJ, your turn. Both sides. Who? I think you kind of alluded to one of them. I'm not sure if you want to pick the Miami Dolphins, but in terms of the AFC, but it's up to you.
Yeah. In terms of, so we're doing AFC and NFC, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Well, obviously, I think the easiest answer of teams I think that can make the biggest decline from last year for the AFC is the Kansas City Chiefs. Winning 15 games, that's a lot and kind of an anomaly, right? I think they're a good team. So I think a big fall off would be if they were to win 10 games. They could still make the playoffs, win 10 games. Yeah. That'd be a -5 in terms of your win percentage from last year. So I think it's going to be really hard to replicate that. So I think they're the easy target to pick off, right, in the AFC. And again, with another team that won 15 games last year in the NFC is the Detroit Lions. And that's a team that I can easily see winning 9 to 8 games this year.
Yeah.
And that would be, 7 to 6 game differential right there for you of what they did last year. Obviously, losing both of your coordinators, I think, is going to be tremendously tough to kind of navigate. I think again, it's one of those. It's like additions and subtraction. You lose your coordinators, but you also get all the players that were hurt last year, which were a lot, back healthy. But at the same time, will they be the same? Will Aiden Hutchinson be as quick twitch and nasty this year? I think he'll work his way back, and then hopefully the year after you can see that. Obviously, he's playing to get a contract extension too, which kind of sucks for him. The timing for him. I just think there just will be too much bad for the Detroit Lions this year, and I think we'll start to see the same old Lions back this year.
Exactly, guys. Okay, now you guys gotta come and bring it with your bestest picks of the season. This is it. This is the time to lay it out on there. CJ, I'm looking straight at you, but you can't see that. Kody, I already know you have something sneaky coming along as well. So, I'm not gonna lie, Kody, when you said you wanted, or you could see the Steelers like pretty much cradle this season, I kind of had to disagree with that only because my biases as someone who is an Aaron Rodgers fan, unfortunately, I would say, he is my favorite quarterback. He is one of the best quarterbacks out there. I think that my bestest bet of the season is going to be something that's going to shock the whole world because it probably won't happen. But what if for plus 4,500 in bet, I think it's FanDuel. My bad. FanDuel. What if the Pittsburgh Steelers at least make it to the Super Bowl? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, what if they make it to the Super Bowl? What if Aaron Rodgers, if he was the same, like half the quarterback and player that he was in the second half of the tail end of the Green Bay era for him, what if he became that kind of quarterback for the Steelers? And he's like, you know what? I'm going to end this whole retirement thing on a high. And then what if he does it? Like I know you weren't as impressed with the whole Smith and Metcalf signings and stuff like that. But what if it all works together? What if everything just comes full circle for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And they have Mike Tomlin, right? He's not a terrible coach. We've seen way worse. And it could. I'm just saying, if you put a little bit of money in, something like that happens. What if like that happens? I don't know. I'm just saying, wishful thinking. I'm a very optimistic person, and I love the odds. Obviously, there's obviously other teams that are probably plus 6,000 or whatever it is, but I'm not even gonna touch those because that's like, this is already reaching, but that's like on another level of reaching. I'm just saying, guys. I like it. Am I gonna put money on it? I haven't decided on it. I'm just saying I like the odds there for sure. That's definitely my motive for sure. So I'm gonna go to Kody first. I know you're the one who kind of like disagreed with this pick, but do you see in terms of what I'm thinking? It's hard to picture right now until the season actually starts, right? And what if they just get like 9 or 8 wins, 10 wins, and then they make the freaking playoffs, and then what happens, right? Then we could talk. Right? I think that's kind of like where we have to be at with this kind of pick. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that's where we've been at with them is they find a way to get 9 or 10 wins. Yeah. And then by the time the playoffs roll around, like everybody has them losing in the first round and then they just lose. And it's not even close the last 3 years. Like, and granted, they've played the top 3 the last 3 years. They played the Chiefs, they played the Bills, they played the Ravens, but it hasn't even been competitive. And I mean, Rodgers he's an upgrade over Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett, but it's not like a massive upgrade. Like it's an upgrade, but not a huge. And I would say like their roster isn't better than it has been the last couple of years, and it's older. I just think there's a lot of hurdles there. The division's tough. You have 2 pretty good teams in the division in Cincinnati and Baltimore. So I mean, plus 4,500 especially just to win the AFC, not to win the Super Bowl. It's a good number. So if you're a Steelers fan, you can go out and get one. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. As I've already said, I think the opposite's going to happen to them this year. But I mean, it'd be a cool story to see. I liked Rodgers early on. His attitudes kind of turned me off.
Yeah,
last
fair.
3-4 years, but I don't see it. I think there's much better Super Bowl bets out there that are more, just more. They can actually happen. just more likely.
And what is your bestest bet of the season, if we were to talk about that?
So I got a couple that I liked as my best bets. My favorite bet was Rams 17-1 to win the Super Bowl. I think that's a good number. Okay. 17-1 is a really good number. And then I like the Bills too. So if you have, you can do on FanDuel Rams versus Bills is plus 3,700. So that's really good too. So that'd be a nice Super Bowl, and that's a good number. And then my favorite bet, this is kind of just like another player bet, is James Cook to lead in rushing yards this year. He's 31-1. It's his contract year. He's been disputing with Buffalo all offseason about getting a contract. He was like he's like 9 or 10 last year rushing. So he's gonna be on a mission. He's gonna want to get paid. So I think hurts him a little bit because Josh Allen runs a ton, but I think he's gonna be on a mission to get that money. It's gonna be tough, but 31-1's nice. But yeah, my favorite bet's still the Rams to win Super Bowl at 17-1.
Yeah, CJ's face kind of just lit up when you said your last pick. I think he's just like, oh, I never considered that. Okay, I like it. So CJ, what is your bestest bet? Since we're a little bit tight on time right now.
All right. Well, I got 2 bets for you, and
oh dear God, here we go.
One is I think you can expect it, and the second one maybe not so much.
Okay.
I'll start with plus 3,500 to win MVP, and his name is Jaden Daniels. And the logic here is the great quarterbacks of this era, what have they done in their second seasons? Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, MVPs in their second seasons. I think Jaden Daniels does that this year, along with his appearance in the Super Bowl and winning it all.
Man.
If you want to parlay all that and just have a nice spicy one. But I think my favorite bet this year.
There we go.
I think it's just too good to pass up. And I think people will be sleeping on this. Is Amari and Hampton to lead all rushing yards this year at plus 4,200.
Whoa, okay. I love the odds.
With a team that just loves to run the football, that wants to be smash mouth football, I think they in love with him. They want him to get the rock and feed him. And I think he will do just that and go 1,800 yards this year. And,
18 as a rookie, shoot.
As a rookie, yeah. And then the fun bet is the unders for Saquon Barkley this year. Whatever his line is for rushing yards, take the under. Guaranteed lock.
That's a good call, yeah, because he's going to have a down year. But, I mean, if you're going to roll with Hampton on that much, you might as well parlay it at 12-1 to win Rookie of the Year.
There you go.
So he goes off for 1,800. He's definitely winning Rookie of the Year. But you're not afraid of Najee taking some carries?
Najee Harris had a eye injury playing with fireworks.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. These guys.
And he won't be able to see the hole, which he barely does.
It's crazy, guys. Okay, I have a good topic for next week, and you guys can flag it, and if you don't like it or whatever, but we're gonna save that for next week. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me today. This is Kody, CJ, and Monique. We are from the Sideline, and we're usually joined by Jackson and Josh. So hopefully next week we'll have them on the show. We're usually on Sports Fluent, Facebook, YouTube, and X at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week, y'all.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.